just in time for Valentine's Day. Now, I know you're probably thinking that I'm going to do some big rant and rave and scream and yell at how much I hate Valentine's Day. And talk about how much it sucks and Hershey's and Hallmark created it. By the way, if you got the reference, good for you. But I'm not going to do that this year. Maybe next year. If I'm alone on Valentine's Day, I'll do the big rant and rave about it. And I'll curse up a storm and all that. But I want to talk about something else. I want to do something else. I want to talk about something that people relate to Valentine's Day. Romance. More specifically, romance movies. Now, I despise romance movies for a few reasons. And I want to talk about why I despise them. First of all, they're insulting. Because you look at a romance movie and the people, the characters they're not even characters, they're caricatures. And the guys are either completely stupid or, pardon my language here, they're jackasses. And it's usually the jackasses that get the girl. And the women are, by and large, completely rudderless. To use a nautical term, they're completely rudderless. They have almost no direction. It's just, I'll go this way, I'm going to go this way. Whichever guy is going to give them the biggest gesture. And that's another thing I think sucks, is the big romantic gestures. Because it makes it seem that the only way to show how you feel about somebody is the big romantic gestures, which in real life would probably get you a restraining order. A lot of this stuff, in movies, we know it's not how real it is in real life, but I'll get to that later. Now, these things are insulting, especially to women, and these movies are geared more towards women, and it's kind of weird that they would insult their audience like this and have the audience continue to come back and watch their types of movies, because they're completely nonsensical. I've only ever watched like one or two, and they were completely stupid. They made less sense than Two-Headed Shark Attack. And the idea that you're going to win somebody over, you're going to do this big thing to win them because you deserve to be with them, it's pretty stupid. And not to mention, the fact is that it works, and it's pretty stupid. I just laugh at the idea of these movies being romantic when they're stalkers who wear down their target until they finally get what they want from them. So yeah, that's pretty dumb. And romance movies are just the posters on them, they're ridiculous. And by now you're probably thinking, oh, you're a guy, of course you hate all romance movies, everyone that ever exists, you probably think they all suck. No, actually. One of my favorite movies of all time, is, believe it or not, a romance movie. It's The Princess Bride. The Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies ever. And the thing about that movie is that the romance in that movie is not fake. That's the other thing about these movies. Because they're caricatures and they're not fully developed, characters in the movie, you kind of think of them as fake. You can't take them seriously. But at least with The Princess Bride, it's something that is done over the course of the movie that you feel that they're genuine human beings, even if, it's a story. And the way that they set up in the beginning and then something happens, but they're still, they go from one spot to another. She is not a rudderless person. She actually has, a bit of independence to about her. In this, if you haven't seen The Princess Bride, go watch it. I'm going to talk about a scene where she's kidnapped, but instead of just waiting for a man to save her, like every Disney movie we've seen, she actually tries to escape by jumping into an ocean. I think is the ocean. Jump into the ocean, but she's not going to be able to escape because they're in the middle of nowhere. Not to mention the shrieking eels. But you see, she puts up an attitude towards her captors. She's not completely, oh, whatever happens, happens. And you see Wesley in this, you see him doing whatever he can to be with her, and you see the torture he goes through, literally. And it's a really good story. Hence, why I like it. It's a really good story. Focus on story. This is one of the big things that I hate about these romance movies, is that people take them seriously. I mean, when I watch The Princess Bride, or Spaceballs, or The Avengers, or Predator, or The Terminator, or Blade, I don't, or The Hobbit, I don't finish watching and say, yeah, that's how life should be. Nothing but actions, vampire slaying, shooting down dragons with arrows, and all this and all that. No, I don't. I don't think that. And the vast majority of people don't think that. But when it comes to romance movies, unfortunately, stereotypically, more women than men, think that that's how a romance movie should be. A romance should be. I think people actually take these things seriously. And that's the horrible thing, when you have to feel that, oh, I should have that sort of thing. That should be my life. It's just a movie. Don't take it too seriously. There are some things you can take serious about a movie, like was the acting completely crappy, or was the story good, that sort of thing. But to take the actual idea of what that life is in the movie and think that's how it should be in your life is kind of weird and kind of messed up. So, yeah, I never understood why people take these things seriously. And, my pop, he once told me, and I love my pop, he told me, Mijo, it's all a love story. Why are you mad if these movies are out there? And I shouldn't be mad, but the thing is that these romance aspects are constantly being what I call crowbarred and forced into movies that they don't need it. Just be your own movie. You don't need to fake a romance or force a romance into a movie. It doesn't always work that way. Sure, it's all a love story, but that doesn't mean every story needs to have a romance element in it. I mean, look at The Hobbit. Again, spoiler on The Hobbit movie. If you haven't seen it yet, please watch it. In the second and third movie, they force a romance element into it that was completely out of nowhere. It made no sense. It didn't advance the story at all, and it didn't help the characters in any way that I saw. And when something happened to them, it was just like, whatever. Because it was forced. It didn't come across naturally. Now, do I think they should never be involved in it? No. I think there are times when it can work. Interesting enough, and I know a lot of people didn't like this movie, but The Amazing Spider-Man. Both of the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Because if you look at the difference between the Spider-Man trilogy with, Tobey Maguire, and the Amazing Spider-Man, the two Amazing Spider-Man movies with, I forget the actor's name. I think his last name is Garfield. But if you look at them, their romance elements are very different. Where in the trilogy, there was this dumb back and forth, like, will he tell her, won't he tell her, in the first two movies, and throughout almost the entire trilogy, is like, will they get together? The smallest thing, like, broke them apart, and it was just, you didn't give a crap about that. I sure didn't. Especially even when they were together in the third movie, it's like, I don't care. I mean, you spent all this crap that you could not have put us through, but you did, and now I don't care. But in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, they were in the middle of the first movie. Boom! He tells her he's Spider-Man. They get together. There's a really good scene where she's tending to one of his wounds on his chest, and she tells him, "So this is what it's like." And she thinks about how her dad, who's a cop, always worrying. Their mom's always worrying, will he come back alive? And that sort of thing works. There are times you can make it work. And I'm not saying get rid of all of them. It's just make it work. Don't be stupid about it. Don't force a romance element like in The Hobbit. I mean, I didn't like the romance element in Captain America. It didn't get good until the second movie. And it's one of my favorite scenes in that second movie. More spoilers, so I'm going to say it. When he goes to visit her in the nursing home, she's like 90-something years old, and he's still as he was when he got frozen, and they're talking to each other. He still cares about her. You can see it in his face, and then when she starts coughing, he goes to get her some water, goes back, and then she sees him and goes, "Steve, you're alive." It's like, it was beautifully done. The story in that scene was very well done. And yes, I didn't really like the romance element in the first movie, but they made it work in the second one. And it was really well done. Because they could have just told us, yeah, she has Alzheimer's, and hit us over the head, sledgehammer style, boom, like that in the head. But you should have, if you haven't seen it, you should. Instead of just telling us, they showed us, and they showed his reaction, which made it even better. So I don't think romance movies should go away. I just think they should be done a little bit better, a little smarter, and don't make it so stupid so that guys feel like, oh gosh, she's gonna drag me to one of those stupid ass movies. It should be like, okay, so we'll watch this movie instead of the one I wanted to watch. I'm still watching Avengers 2 or the third Captain America or the third Thor movie. You watch whatever romance movies comes out. So that's what I think. Be smarter about it. Don't force a romance element, especially, because I'm always going to hate that. I think a lot of guys are going to hate that, because you feel like we've been tricked. When we go into a movie and then all of a sudden, you see a romance. And it's like, when did I walk in the wrong movie? It's like, why is this crap happening? So yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't know if you think they're good. If you think romance movies should be even dumber than they are, well, I shouldn't say that. Should stay the course in a sense. How can they change? How can they be made better? Do you like when they put a romance element into a movie that doesn't really need it? Or do you think it is necessary? Let me know. So that's what I think. Yeah, like I said, no big rant. I wasn't screaming and yelling. Just calmly talking about how I feel. Maybe next year, if I'm alone on Valentine's Day, I'll give you what you want. Give you the big screaming, profanity-laced rant about Valentine's Day. But this time I just wanted to calmly talk about these types of movies. I do enjoy a good movie. You have romance movies like The Princess Bride that are really well done, and then you have BS romance movies that it's like, oh, this is crap. So I always have the joke, you gonna go see that whatever romance movie come out? And are you gonna watch that movie? It's like, only if a woman like tasers me and chloroforms me, drags me into the movie theater. The rest of the poor guys. But yeah, let me know what you think. What type of romance movies do you like? Do you like romance movies? Do you like when they're done, when the romance element is put into a movie that you wouldn't think at first would go together, like an action movie or a sci-fi movie? Let me know in the comments. So, until next time, later.